Hello and welcome to today's circle to support self-healing. Let's breathe. Hello and welcome again. Before I before we enter this circle for healing, transmutation and transformation, alchemizing, I wanted to share a few things with you. The energies are coming in when they are coming in very quick. It is almost like the thoughts are they're so tumbling one over the other that it is difficult to put them in a linear structure, but this is obviously the challenge for some of us to communicate with the wisdom pieces that are shared with us. It requires surrendering. It requires letting go of what the nature of the person is. It requires to be totally authentic and honest with oneself, and it requires to absolutely center in that connection. Personally, I see it as a funnel from the heart. It is a bit like an umbilical cord, just in this case, it is an energetic one. A bit like the third eye extension, which is often seen as a physical part like a unicorn, but actually in that what I connect to, it is a beam of light, or let's say it is a beam of energy, and light is one of it, one of the energetic manifestations. In a way, it is a breath. It's an umbilical breath connected to the origin. And being a human ultimately means that we are connected with all these parts multidimensionally. Okay, I would like to focus on the reason why I came on to share with you. This is a circle to support self-healing of all those that feel benefit from this support. It always includes the entire connection, meaning all of what you, all of what I, all of what we are. This includes the place, the land we're on. This includes our loved ones. This includes particularly our pets. This includes also the home. And this includes any plants, animals, all nature, all the elementals, the breath, the air, the moisture that this air needs to be breathed, and all the heart and all the genetic connection. There's so many science fiction and science facts that want to be shared. I need to focus, not to get on the tangent. I wanted to simply explain why I felt nudged to record this on this technology. And this idea has been going on for a few years. On the webpage blueroom.org, I have shared some of the deeper healing sessions that happened in the last few years, and my wish has been to offer what many of the organization of healers worldwide offer, and it's called the healing list, where you add the name of somebody who needs support, and then they are included in this healing session. So far, there has been no resonance, or let's say the public exposure has been limited, or there has been other formats that resonated more with people. And so being authentic and not able to follow any kind of school or teaching or thought, and being absolutely in the now moment, where there sometimes is no language yet. And personally, I feel that sharing what is going on, personal things, really provides one part of the healing. Because when you listen to many interviewers and interviewees, and people with titles and people with books and so on, not dismissing any of it, welcoming the contribution of everyone that is on, well, this planet, that is in contact with, this is part of the solar system, really. And one can get the impression that the lives of others are perfect. They look great. They talk with a lot of confidence. They share their truth, and it's easy to wonder how are they so sure, at the same time allowing them, if this is their part, if this is what they came to Earth for, and if this is their authentic self, no one has the right to judge or criticize. So the energies, yeah, the energies. All these concepts that we have, if we call them Schumann lines, if we call them CMEs, coronal mass ejection, if we call them solar storms, if we call them weather, if we call them rain or sun or storm, or if we call them sunrise, sunset, day and night. These are all definitions out of our perception. And it doesn't mean that the definitions are always agreed upon by everyone, or that everybody means the same using certain descriptions. We are all individuals, and yet there are things we share. Yeah, it's the same sun, I presume, the same moon, and if we're lucky to have 2 healthy feet, all of us walk on this planet. Sorry, I need to center because as I shared, the energies are, well, it's still April, right? So we have all sunshine, wind, water, cyclical type of. So really, the reason to share with you is because I wanted to offer to this community the possibility of this type of healing circle and base it loosely on the idea of the healing list. So I do not get a lot of comments, but there are some, and in the moment that I am aware of someone benefiting, of some support, automatically compassion, empathy, and well wishes are created. And then I listen to a few channels because simply to reflect upon what is happening to this being, this body, um, in this moment of now. And when somebody asks for some support for self-healing, if I have been listening to them, then it is a way of supporting them in their journey. And so this is what I was nudged to offer today. So you are welcome to include, and you can use nicknames, you can use only the first name. You don't have to share the name, and when you listen, you just say the name out loud. We always include all our loved ones, and we can include ourselves. So this is the sharing, the offering, the idea I wanted to put forward to you. Because without you, I still would do these circles for self-healing, but it would be a different format. So if you feel to join on an equal heart level, you are very welcome. There is no charge for this. If you feel to exchange, to support this, Of course, subscribing to this channel or subscribing to the web page, or both. And if you would like to support the upkeep of the web page, there is a Ko-fi link in the description. This is all wonderful, and it's not easy for me to ask that. Equally, I trust that if this is the path to take, it will be shown. So, just to remind you, being present, being on this planet, even clicking on this video, podcast, audio, whatever, sharing it, applying your life energy. Yeah, it's lifetime. You're applying, you're choosing to use it as a reflection tool, because here is no claim. This is just an offering. But just to say, you being in this life, you breathing, you wishing to understand, reflect, and live in a more conscious manner, and basically are on your own journey of self-exploration, of remembering what is your true nature. But just all of that is just enough. You are already love, you are already compassion, you are already empathy, and the areas where we have been hurt that maybe make us protect ourselves. There is a chance to look into these and with loving kindness, embrace them, hug them, and accept them, and feel at ease, feel seen and heard, and feel connected. And as we are building this within us, we can then also create it, what many call our daily lives. There is no such thing as a daily or as a every day is special. Every moment is special. Wherever we are being, wherever we are, wherever we find ourselves, we take ourselves and our energy with us, and there is also room to be authentic. Let's breathe. Thank you for listening. Let's invite the archetype of a pure circle to support self-healing into the now. We are all sitting or lying in the circle. Um, let's just focus and breathe onto that image. The color that is appearing today is in the spectrum of a pearl white going into a yellow gold, orangey copper, and that sunlit type orangey, orange gold, gold, yellow, coppery. Yeah, it's an orange, copper, yellow. It's an orange gold color that we place now our loved ones. And so please dedicate it to your loved ones, to all our loved ones. And I dedicate it to all that feel a benefit to be in a healing circle. And you may like to place your entire family in it, all generations, in all realms. I'm placing the bio family as well as any soul group, any place of origin into this circle to support self-healing. And I'm placing particularly my lovely pony, my lovely cat, the cat that is very shy and has recently come into the barn. I'm placing into the circle my mum, who recently had surgery, her hubby, who also had surgery the last 2 years and feels a bit under the weather. My sister, who is supporting them right this moment. my niece, my cousin, my brother-in-law, and their project. This is another another word for business, but it supports the family, and some people work so really hard in these climbs, and so everything has a heart and its lifetime, and including all other biofamily that weren't mentioned. I would like to place into this some lovely participants of the Dwarfed Planet Academy, or this is Alan and Melissa, and everyone who was participating, who was looking at the new planets. And I would like to just wish them all the very best, because each of them offers something to humanity that supports the ability to self-heal. Further, I would like to include Kathy Rose from Rose Astrology. Hi, Kathy. I listened to your May forecast, and you asked for support for your upcoming hip surgery due to a material recall by the company, and I would like to send my support in mentioning you here. I will make a comment under your video as you kindly ask. I feel to respond, so you're very welcome. May all of your surgery preparation, the entire operation and the recovery, the anesthetics and everything go smoothly, go well, and you are able to walk again and care for your new garden, and that you are recovering as smoothly and perfectly in good timing, and that you are feeling well throughout, and that you are completely healthy, enjoying this new hip and enjoying a new way of walking effortlessly. May all be well with you, and so it is. And there is another person I know of, who I don't know the name, but it is a friend, Eva, and thanking her for caring for her friend and sending a lot of well wishes to your friend, and many thanks to you for supporting, being a friend, and sharing the path to healing with them. Thank you. Just so inspiring for me to hear from human beings that I know or know of that act in this way. That alone is healing for each of us and for this, for humanity. And I would like to also mention one of my subscribers called Anna kindly shared of her story, and I would like to send a lot of love and include her four-legged companion, her dog, Foxy Lady, into this circle to support self-healing. May this time of walking the path together bring you even closer and bring you strength to simply be with each other, which is the most important. and provide the supplements, the care, and the love. Just to share with you, I joined in with another let's call them distant healer, and sharing the story of Kat and I. She said that certainly the homeopathy played its role. However, clearly it was the love that supported the healing of this quite complex situation. So I wanted to put this statement, this feedback, this experience into the circle to support self-healing, as for whatever reason we underestimate our human abilities, because we were born into a world where a very one-dimensional and a very restricted and limited view of what life is was promoted for whatever reason. And so if there are any young human beings listening, the most important thing is to trust and believe in yourself and in the connection that is universal, and that you have the ability to care for each other, to share and to heal. And you do not need any person that gives the thumbs up, or each one of us has the ability to follow their heart. And even if you cannot voice your opinion, you can voice it inside of you, and you can keep that flame of trust within. the same time, I would like to thank everyone who supports anyone in finding back to their center and finding back into their personal ability to choose what is their authentic self. And I would like to place into the circle the emotion of anger, whatever is behind the emotion of anger requires support and healing. And if somebody takes something very personal and reacts in anger, even though there is no reason to direct it towards you, towards me, simply in not falling into that role of separation, of taking it personally or judging the other, in remaining you, remaining authentic, in basically holding inside your truth and not falling into that, I would say, trap to be put in a position that apparently you are against the other person, which you never were. It is just that the communication isn't working right now. And so it's not a nice feeling to be confronted with an angry party, maybe misunderstandings, and it feels a bit like a thunderstorm energetically. And so there is some debris flying. But that is what I mean with being authentic, being yourself. That means in really reaffirming inside that you did not judge this person for it, that you may not understand the situation as you don't have the details. Um, it happened while I was joining a group for an excursion, and it was outside. It was good weather, and so I could shake it off. But you see, I still have it with me. It's only a couple of days ago. Therefore, I would like to include this person, and I would like to include the emotion of anger to be put into the healing circle so that we can understand why it has to come to this type of outburst. And this is something I would like to place into the circle as well, is basically that humanity finds a diplomatic way to come to a solution that works for all parties involved, and where the motives are stated, but where the will to overcome the past and where the will and the wish of all those involved is to now create peace. And so we include with this circle for self-healing that all of us, in the micro and in the macro, can support a less stressful system where we can feel safe, where we don't have to feel all the time we need to protect ourselves, we need to defend ourselves, we have to speak up, or where we can just be accepting of ourselves. With this, when I say that, the word pain comes up. So pain is something of the past. There's a lot coming to the surface, therefore there are uneasy feelings, painful feelings within the body. And it feels right now that it needs a focus, that we need to allow the condition to fully come up. I suppose you would most likely call it an inflammation, as it is often a protective measure of the body, put fluid around the area where there is where an old injury is coming up from very deep down. And I can only speak for my own situation, that Saturn currently is conjunct my Chiron, and that in Pisces, and it's not in the sixth house, which often stands health. But Saturn for me is structure, and it's related to the bones. And please don't think of these bones that you see in a skeleton used in your biology class or something. No, they are very bendable, very flexible. They are together with the fascia and the muscles and the ligaments and the blood vessels and the endocrine glands and all of that, and always the ZM, the extracellular matrix, which is basically the area where all of these organ structures end, where there are no blood vessels, where there are no nerves, where there are no endocrine glands, when there is apparently nothing, but there is everything, because that is where the, let's call it the fertile soup of all bodily waters are, which then nurture and heal this. But sometimes it needs a certain environment, and whether you believe in astrology or not, it is a useful tool to shine a light on it. And just to say that the most outer planet, as I understand it, Sedna, is changing signs in the next few days, and it has been the same one for many years. And please research it. There are enough astrologers out there, but it is not just that it's on the day, just like a full moon doesn't happen just on that moment where it's totally full. It's always a few days working up to it, a few days remaining in it, and a few days going out. And so together with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, together with the full moon, and together with the eclipses that we have, in this case, it's been showing itself for a couple of weeks. Salt bath, some light yoga, or some walking outside, or homeopathy, and taking supplements, and eating well. I have to share also that there must be a lot going on energetically, as my body just displayed symptoms of hunger. This may be related to another healing. Traditionally, you would connect that with psora miasma, which is described, amongst other things, in Hahnemann's homeopathic description from about a couple hundred years ago, and others since have written about it, but it is the miasma of lack in the sense of poverty, in the sense of um, lack of self-worth, lack of self-value, but also really it's to do with that imprinted, at least into our ancestors who went through famine and war. And it's mainly war that caused that worldwide. And that seems to come up as a pattern, maybe because humanity feels threatened by what is shared about conflicts, and therefore I would like to include into the healing circle any area on this planet where there is a conflict, where there is unfairness, where there is apparently poverty, where people have lack of peace. And as I am saying that, the area becomes really hot. So whatever this body has inherited certainly relates to that. So therefore, including any energy of non-peace anywhere in the solar system into this circle to support self-healing. I'm getting now a huge blue energy. Really, Earth, the multiverse, and all the beings on it. Really wish for peace to happen. So everyone can enjoy their life and build something, create something. Yeah, in peace you can be creative. You can use all the energy to focus on healing and then on creative expression. And I need to please share with you that I do not believe in disease. or in aging, or in death. I understand it is manifesting. Um, Being here on this planet, feeling sadness or feeling grief is human, is empathy. However, I am sharing this because ultimately we will have a different type of culture, and it is it is signals that we need to honor. But we don't need to judge them as something bad or negative or something that one doesn't mention. It would be so nice if it is possible to say, I am missing this person, and that we remind ourselves that the emotions we are feeling is out of love, and sometimes we may miss the potential of what could have been. It is not easy to understand that when human beings have experienced trauma, their coping mechanisms, however positive they may be, often cause a disconnect because we cannot address it, we cannot talk about it because it's too much for the other person. And that's empathy as well. And so being on our own, being in our own energy, being in our own space is also a possibility to allow the feelings to arise and allow healing to take place. So that is happening anyhow. Okay. The energy of this circle is now showing itself as golden. So I would like to ask you to place anything that has not been mentioned into this circle for self-healing. And maybe there is a situation, there are other human or other beings, there is something where you yourself require a solution, and yeah, the word abundance comes up. So we are inviting in abundance of all life's essentials to flow through to us easily now. I trust we are entering in a very creative phase where everybody contributes that what is part of their self-expression. The energy of pain makes it so wanting to be heard. We need to understand pain as something positive, as it signals to us there is something we need to see, to feel, to transmute, possibly, but it is a signal that we may have to rest, we may have to change something, we may have to research something, we may come to an understanding within us that it's not an enemy, even though it may be really, really. We can breathe into it. We can feel compassion for the pain. We can feel the empathy for that painful expression. Why do these cells, why do this area in our body and some may have mm, some of these feelings may have to do with how females and males were pushed into a cultural role that they may not have been able to manifest, or that wasn't really them. And so I'm very strongly at this moment getting the feminine energy that felt limited by not being able to freely choose, but that it was assumed for generations now what their role is, and they were not really held in high esteem. And so there is a lot of that It's a generational mother wound, isn't it? And there is a lack of father in the sense that male human beings were obviously taken away from their family through the culture of conflict or the culture of career or the culture of work and money being more important than being there. And I know things are changing, but just to recognize that the memory of a lack of in German it's Menschenwürde. It means to the word respect comes across wrongly. It's not this disciplinary respect thing. It's not this religious respect thing. It's not this, raising the finger, have respect thing. No, it is this heart to heart, human to human, compassionate, empathy based understanding that every living being has its own birthright to be here, and therefore no other living being has the right to diminish them or put them in a category or judge them or stop them or do something to them or behave, yeah, higher or above them or, yeah, power over is what many people use. There is no power over anybody culture anymore. But it seems very much to be connected to that, to not being heard, not being seen, and not being understood, and yeah, not spending time. Really, each human being is an absolute gift to the family, to society. However, it is clear that our stories would be different if we had this equal, compassionate, individual, free, sovereign world for generations, which we did not have. So everything happened out of a lack, out of a limitation, and we got through, we get by, but we are not able to choose truly because it is most likely always a compromise. And so many of these feelings are based on that fact that what we would have liked to have done or what we have liked to have said wasn't possible, wasn't there. There were always more important things. And there was a certain amount of stuckness because of this culture of conflict that created a lot of post-traumatic stress syndrome. Is just that there wasn't even the word for that. So so I suppose with everything we are healing in ourselves now is linked automatically to unhealed pain, unhealed grief, unhealed sadness. Not saying that we always have to make something better, meaning we need to allow for grief and pain and sadness to express itself. But we could take a different stance instead of judging it as something negative. So maybe this is the time that when it shows itself, we make room for it. And maybe that is what being part of a circle that supports self-healing is simply that. We make room to feel, to hold, to be in it. And we do it together in this moment. So we're allowing it to be, even though we may feel we would rather. And be able to do something else in this now moment. Yeah. As one lifetime may feel very short, and we would rather like to have fun and I understand the frustration that comes with feeling empathy for somebody with chronic illness or empathy for going through something like this over a lengthy period of time. This is the very reason that this circle for self-healing was started. And so let's ultimately comes back for the wish to have true peace in this world, and therefore then peace in the families, so we can build something over generations that supports the next generation, that they don't have to start from scratch or have to spend a lifetime rebuilding what was destroyed. And that you follow your bliss rather than you follow this feeling of having to get away from things. It seems a lot of things that happened in the last 100 years were made out of compensating for something. And ultimately, it is that love that brings two people together, and that love that creates a family, and that love that allows the next generation to feel good about themselves. There's enough happening anyhow. We really do not need any kind of lack. Saying this, we're coming to closing this healing circle for the now. Please take your time to center in yourself. Take your time to remember that you are fully functional, that you are strong, that you are able to share the empathy, and that you are able to be yourself. And that you have the wisdom in you and that we are the peace, and that we are powerful in that way, just simply breathing peace. I am really wishing to thank you. I'm wishing to thank all those that send loving, kind, compassionate, empathy, healing, strength, perseverance, to all those that were mentioned today, we can all do with loving support. So therefore, let's send loving support to all of us, to each of us, so that we can nurture our inner connection, so that we know what is ours to share, and that we can hear each other, see each other, listen to each other, and we can remember that we are able to self-heal and do this in peace. And so it is. Thanking you for sharing. Thank you. And this is Blue on behalf of authenticity and wishing to contribute and support those that feel supported by this. Closing this circle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And while the circle is closing, I wanted to share something with you that I forgot mentioning at the beginning. The reason to do today's circle for self-healing and to share with you the intention that there is the possibility of having this healing list to include loved ones into the healing circle is because the aim would be, and that was the idea initially, to do this, to make this a live, possibly an interactive session. But YouTube's rules are that one needs a minimum of 50 subscribers to do live sessions. And previously I offered this on the online meditation group for, Rory Duff's Sacred Network, and the emphasis there though is most people wish to go through so-called sacred sites, and the technology that is used on the sacred network um, was quite cumbersome when I started it there about a year ago. And upon suggestion of an astrology session I had, it was suggested to offer this on YouTube, and it is such an easy to use and widespread platform. And that is what I did. And so when the possibility exists, I will offer this. Alternatively, there would be the chance of a Zoom group, but this requires an investment unless um, there is the possibility to be cut off when the free time is used up. So just to share with you, as I spoke quite a bit on this session today about this, that that was always the plan. Let's see what manifests, and let's see how much this supports you and others. And so I trust that there will be guidance and holding your space for this. So closing this circle of healing, because I simply put this idea within this circle to support self-healing. And thank you for being part. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing healing vibes with others. And all my love to all those that require extra strength in the situation they find themselves in. Thank you.